Welcome to another special episode of the Hearthstone Report. We have a couple of card changes, actually a bunch of them. After the patch was just released, we got another announcement for a new one. And we have a brand new, potentially game-breaking card that we're going to talk about. JJ, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Right, so am I, actually. For the first time in roughly 2 years of YouTube, I am doing fine as well. Because this is very, very interesting. So, we've seen the balance patches hit, nerfing Rogue and Elysiana, primarily. And you want to talk about the new card first?
I guess we can talk about the new card first.
What do they have in mind for us here?
Well, this is a new mech that gets added to the Boomsday set, but will not be available through card packs. You can only get a gold one automatically between June 3rd and July 1st if you log in. Otherwise, you can craft a regular one.
Free Golden Legend, people.
Yes.
You want those. Those are good.
I assume it's not disenchantable, at the very least until Boomsday rotates, but it's still good to have.
We're going to see about that. It's a Golden Legend.
It's a 3-mana, 2/3 mech called snip-snap that has Magnetic, repeatable this turn, and Death Rattle, summon 2 1/1 Microbots.
It actually does have Echo for no good reason, which even more now invalidates them not using it on stuff like the Witch's Brew.
Yes.
Because they clearly are using it on cards other than the Witchwood set.
Well, someone has commented that might just be so because this rotates alongside Witchwood, but it still is very flimsy reasoning.
Yeah, but I like that they use it.
Yes.
That's good, because otherwise it probably wouldn't have fit on the card, actually.
Which is probably why they use it.
Yeah, that might be the reason. And the Death Rattle summon 2 1/1 Microbots. So, let's address the elephant in the room, right?
I thought we just talked about Echo.
No, that's not the elephant in the room. That's the hippopotamus in the room. But the elephant is even bigger. Hey, JJ, you know, quick enlightenment, right? What's the difference between an elephant and a Zippo? People, what's the difference? You wanna take a guess? You wanna take a guess and put it in the comments first, but I'm gonna reveal it.
Okay, just
so an elephant is very heavy, right?
Yes.
And a Zippo is a little lighter.
Oh yeah, right. I've heard that before.
Yeah, I think I've told you that before too. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I can totally see myself doing that. But, okay, the big one is obviously, you've probably seen it before, Coppertail Imposter on turn 4, Reckless Experimenter into Infinite Snip-Snaps, into an 2-turn kill OTK almost effectively on turn 5 with Priest.
That is assuming you draw the cards.
Assuming you draw the card, but still, you can, at any point, if you have Reckless Experimenter and Snip-Snap and you get a mech to stick on the board, you effectively get infinite damage. Now, there's been a couple of different speculation, a couple of different ideas about how Blizzard can potentially nerf this even before it comes out. And they're probably not going to change Snips now. I mean, this card is now set in stone. If they're going to change something, I assume they have to change the Reckless Experimenter. And people have proposed to make it so that it reduces the cost of cards by 2.
Yeah.
Instead of 3, which would then make Snip-Snap cost 1 apiece. And thereby not allow for infinite damage.
Honestly, I wouldn't even be mad if they then, to counteract that nerf a bit, then maybe gave the Experimenter like 1 extra attack or something.
Right.
Because it doesn't, you just want to kill the combo, you don't want to necessarily make the card significantly worse.
The Experimenter was relevant once when, a little bit, when Mechathune Priest was a thing.
Yeah.
Played it with the Ticking Abominations and the Coffin Crasher. Ever since then, kind of like the whole class of Priest, it hasn't really seen too much of sunlight, but it could definitely be coming back with this, and it will be, I believe it will be mayhem if this actually hits the meta both at the same time. The unnerfed Experimenter and this, there's going to be a lot of people trying to play that combo. So, pro tip, like professional pro tip from TrashcanTV's own Alex, which is me. Find something that counters it, and upon release, play this. You'll hit Legend in June. If people play this, even just for a couple of weeks, you want to find something that counters it and go grind, because everyone's gonna try this out. JJ made this experience himself with the Cthulhu back in the day, right?
Yeah, there was definitely some uses of counter Cthulhu by just building a better Cthulhu deck. But the thing is, right, stuff like Mind Games and Convert were relatively useful back then. The point here is that even without the combo, I think this is a pretty decent card. And if you look at it just on its own, for 9 mana, it's just a 6/9, or you can spread it however you want, but I assume you're going to stack it up top of each other, oftentimes, that summons almost a full board of 1/1s when it dies.
It summons a full board. basically, right? It's
Six.
6 of them. Yeah, I think you can in that case you can kind of compare it to Onyxia pretty well, because you get the big thing that summons stuff, not as battle cry, but this also has a charge if you put it on something that's already on the board.
Yeah, this is on its own definitely a weaker Onyxia because of the delay as well with the death rattle, but of course that's not the main use for it, and I think that's gonna be helpful as well as the versatility. I think I could totally see this being used, for example, in something like the Token Druid. Maybe maybe instead of on Forest Aid, maybe on top of it instead of something else. Because this is effectively kind of like Forest Aid once it dies, where it fills the board up, and or comparable to Whispering Woods as well.
Well, these will include a lot of mech decks for sure.
Yeah, and as I said, it doesn't even need to be a mech deck. Like, I think the Token Druid can use it. I think, of course, the Mech Hunter and the Control Warrior could probably use this really well.
It's a decent enough card by itself. If you took the Magnetic and the Echo tag off of it, and you set it down like that, people will say it's fine. It's a decent card.
Yeah, at that point, it wouldn't be justified as a legend, of course,
Yes.
but yeah, it's fine. You basically are paying 1 mana for the Death Rattle at that point, and the Death Rattle isn't that bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's still a good card, and with the Magnetic and Echo, a lot of versatility. But speculation can go rampant. Let us know what you think about this. We're gonna have a look at the other card changes too, because after recent balance patch, they decided to make some changes about the Boomsday project to some degree, I believe, because it's historically, since it was released, always been one of the most underrepresented sets in the meta. It generally has seen the least play. It's one of the weakest sets.
And on top of that, it's also, people have noticed that the Hearthstone player base is shrinking, and all of a sudden, Blizzard is doing something that people have asked for a while now, which is buff cards.
Buff cards. And we're going to just mention all of them and quickly say if it's good, if it makes sense, but overall, we can already say that I kind of like this. I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, I think overall it's pretty good.
They looked at 2 cards for each class and changed them for the better. So for Druid, we have Gloop Sprayer, down to 7 mana from 8, which makes sense. The card didn't see a lot of play. There was a brief period in Big Druid before the rotation, kind of in the Rastakhan's, or kind of the Rastakhan's Rumble days, when Big Druid was a fringe tier 2 deck, and they can't hurt too much with making Gloop Sprayer 7. Mulch Muncher is down to 9 from 10. Maybe an incentive for people to play it in token, but I don't think this is going to tip it over the scale.
So I think these 2 changes, I like them a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Because of one specific card that this buffs, actually, which is Crystal Sun Portal.
Fair enough, yeah.
Which is a staple in the Token Druid. Almost all decks run at least 1 copy of it, most run 2. And now the pool just got better by 2 of the cards getting better, and especially Mulch Muncher is a really good pull sometimes.
Because you have all the treants.
Because you have a lot of treants.
So that could be value.
And Gloop Sprayer is one of the weaker pulls, but at least now it's a bit cheaper. So you usually will have 2 minions on board. So Gloop Sprayer oftentimes will just be, hey, it's a 4/4 and 2 2/2s, which for the token strategy still makes sense.
In this case, now you can follow it up with the Blessing of the Ancients.
Exactly. Previously, you could only do it with Power of the Wild. Now you can also do it with Blessing of Ancients. So overall, I like it, again, just mostly for the Crystal
Small solid lead, but cool. So, for Hunter, we have Necro Mechanic down to 4 mana from 5. Before you could have made the argument it's better than Baron Riven there, but now, damn.
It's better than Baron Riven.
It seems like a very good card, and it hasn't been run a lot for some reason. It hasn't really even when the Death Rattle Hunter was a big thing, it hasn't been run a lot. I'm gonna be curious to see if this actually finds play now.
Yeah.
Would be interesting. And then we have Flark's Boomzooka, the legendary spell for Hunter, down to 7 from 8. Not much of anything there being played for sure. So far, I'm not sure if it will now. It still seems too random and too weird of an effect.
I mean, it works with Revenge of the Wild, I guess, but that's about it.
We'll see.
But it's not meant to necessarily make new cards overpowered.
Mage, we have Unexpected Results, is from 4 mana to 3. Yeah, it's seen occasional play, but mostly off Discover spells, and not too much there.
But I think that 2 random 2-drops for 3 mana
is fine enough.
Is already relatively worth it. It gets buffed by spell damage, which is a bit of an edge case still, and it of course synergizes with Khadgar.
I think this is the correct cost for that spell. Luna's Pocket Galaxy is down to 5 from 7. Now this is a card that JJ has, and we've played this before in certain big spell mages. It being down to 5, that's a significant change. I'm not sure if people will not consider playing it, for example, in the Khadgar Summons Mage, because it is a spell, and but you have big minions.
Yeah, I definitely think that oftentimes the problem that I had when I tried playing with it was, first of all, oftentimes it's just a weak turn in and of itself. Yeah. But now also the thing was oftentimes that there was a card that you would rather play that turn than Pocket Galaxy. Now it's more likely to be able to play like a small minion and Pocket Galaxy, or just maybe you don't have anything good on turn 5 and you just play Pocket Galaxy right away. By playing it earlier, you'll be making use of it earlier, and it'll affect more cards.
I like the ideas. I like the ideas for sure. It seems like they really want this card to be playable.
And I think it might now just be playable. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a staple in any major deck.
It has to fit the right deck. Paladin Christology, the card that was better known as a cheaper Arcane Intellect that tutors, is down from 2 mana to 1 mana and might be the craziest card in the game.
Well, the things that it tutors just aren't that great, that's kind of the problem,
actually. It's kind of the problem. The problem is that the tutoring here makes the pool of cards that you're going to get on average from the draw a bit worse than random cards from your deck.
Yeah, and there's also a good reason why it couldn't be the way it is now earlier.
Because of Odd Paladin.
Odd Paladin, yeah.
And that would have been insanity.
So, now that opportunity is outside of standard, the Christology is all of a sudden usable, maybe.
If we get 1 mana Paladin things going...
One attack
thing is going. It's gonna be interesting. So this card very, very strong for sure. It needs to fit the right deck, needs to be available, but if it is, it's gonna be very powerful. Glowstone Technician is the other one, a 6 mana, now it's 5. Sensible nerf. It was too bad before. I'm not sure it's gonna see play now, but more of a consideration.
I don't think so. Hand buff is historically relatively weak. There is one argument to make that these cards actually work relatively well together.
Christology and the Glowstone?
Because you're getting a wider hand of minions and then you're
buffing it.
Mm-hmm. I still don't think it's gonna see any amount of play.
No, it's not.
But I guess it's nice that it's slightly better now.
It's gonna be interesting. So, Priest has extra arms down to 2 mana from 3, and this is a pretty good buff.
Yeah.
This makes this card very good, because it's basically a better Blessing of Kings at this point.
Yeah, and also it's now comparable to Power Word Shield a bit more when it comes to the OTK ideas, while still providing an aggressive buff to the turn is played if you don't just want to get the extra health.
So this seems pretty good.
It was also confirmed by Peter Whalen on Twitter that, in fact, more arms is also reduced to 2.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but some people were asking, and it's a valid question.
Because it doesn't specify. Cloning Device is down to 1 mana from 2. I don't think this is going to do anything either way.
No, but it's definitely more in line with other cards with similar effects.
The effect isn't worth the mana. Rogue, and this card a lot of people have been looking at. Pogo Hopper, down to 1 mana from 2. This I like.
I don't think it changes that much, sadly.
I don't think it changes much, but it does. There are some important interactions there. For example, you now have you have a Pogo on 1 if you want it, and you also basically guarantee your Witcher Pipers to draw you the Pogo.
Right.
So that could potentially be important.
Pipers is a good argument.
I'm not sure that the deck is going to be fantastic by any means, but I think people will take a second look at it. That includes me, by the way.
We're definitely going to play it again.
Yeah.
But the problem that we had last time is just sustainability, and none of that gets fixed just by having the core card be cheaper. You are right in that we can now get it more reliably, which is a good thing, but we'll see.
Violet Haze, 3 mana, now it's 2, still probably not very good. 2 random Death Rattle cards for 2 mana is not what Rogue wants.
Yeah, no.
Shaman has the Stormbringer down to 6 mana from 7, very rarely seen play in aggressive strategies. I'm not sure if it will now, but sometimes the Stormbringer can be a bit of a flip.
And, of course, this is one of those cards where the earlier you can play it, the better it is, so it's definitely, once again, worth a consideration maybe for something like the Murloc Shaman where you go wide. The problem is that is like the main Murloc deck, the main Shaman deck that goes wide, and Murlocs have the problem where if they are wide enough, they're already pretty strong because of all the synergies.
Exactly. Like, basically, when this card came out, I said, this is not going to see play because Bloodlust is better. Is there a situation where you'd rather have the Stormbringer than Bloodlust in an aggressive deck? Rarely, right?
Very rarely, yes.
So, probably not going to change too much. And Thunderhead is now a 3/6 up from a 3/5, so not a cost change there, still 4 mana. I think at 3 mana would have been way too strong there.
Of course.
For sure. So the health buff makes sense. And we'll see if there's going to be some play. There needs to be more synergy to go with it.
Thunderhead does, I think for a while at least, it saw play in Overload synergy decks, so making it stronger is definitely something that is going to make it more playable.
Warlock gets the Spirit Bomb to 1 mana from 2. This card was theorized in the early theory craft of the Mechathun Warlock for the Rise of Shadows expansion, which hasn't really taken off at all. I've basically never ran into it.
Yeah, also I think Shriek did the same thing for cheaper. Yeah. I guess this now makes it compete better with Shadow Bolt.
Yeah, maybe. I think
because Shadow Bolt already deals 4 damage.
It seems like a decent control tool now, but
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. Dr. Morgan is down to 6 mana from 8, which it was before. Is it playable now? I don't know. Not very sure. It definitely wasn't good at 8.
The thing is, of course, investing 8 mana to get a 5/5 that pulls you something is very weak. For 6 mana, I think it's reasonable. I think
it's fine.
I don't think that there's necessarily a deck that wants to run it all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But it's a reasonable card.
If the right deck ever comes along, like a big Warlock, hand Warlock sort of thing, at some point, which there definitely has been in the past, then 6 mana for a 5/5 that pulls you a thing that's probably better than a 3/3 is value.
Also, something to consider both here and also with Thunderhead and maybe with some of the others is, of course, Arena. Yeah. This becomes probably draftable in Arena now with Dr. Morgan.
It seems alright now because of just the value. Let's look at Warrior. Now, Warrior probably has the strongest class of Boomsday cards out of all the classes. Yeah. And 2 cards that were changed are Security Rover, which is up to a 2/6 from a 2/5. And this I like because this card is actually pretty decent off of the Mech Discoveries and the Control Warrior.
Honestly, I don't think this card needed the boost.
It didn't necessarily need it. It wasn't terrible before.
But at the same time, it barely matters.
Yeah.
Because if you're assuming that the minions that you attack it with have the same attack between each other, then that virtually never makes a difference because you usually will have 3/2 attack minions, 2/3 attack minions, or 2/4 attack minions. Yeah.
So
it just matters very rarely.
It does very rarely, but especially when you're in control, you draw it and you can run it into something. Slight buff, definitely not a cost change. That's appropriate. But the other one is Beryllium Nullifier, which is now a 4/8 up from a 3/8. Slight change again in the stat wise, no cost changes there, which I believe is also fine. It was okay. It wasn't run by design in Control Warriors because of the bad stat line. But now getting it off of Discovery is even slightly better, so I'm not mad about that.
I think I'm gonna say the same thing about this as I did for the Druid cards, where this is primarily nice because of Delivery Drone and Omega Assembly.
Exactly, you can get it off of Discoveries, of random generation, and now there's just a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think the cards are necessarily going to be ran individually because of it.
Right, exactly. So what other kind of news do we have, JJ?
Well, the next Arena season, they said they were going to change it once per each expansion, is now officially revealed and will contain Classic and Basic, which all of the rotations will. It still contains Rise of Shadows, which I assume that also will always be the case if the newest expansion is used. And on top of that, it will be Goblins vs. Gnomes, the Grand Tournament, Karazhan, and, as I kind of alluded to, the Boomsday Project.
So we're getting some new expansions. I really like this Arena Seasons thing, because this allows people who don't have any wild cards, who maybe have never heard of Karazhan, or the Boomsday Project, the Grand Tournament, for example. People never heard of that. They started playing Hearthstone over the last year. They've never heard of those expansions or adventures.
Yeah, and also, what I really like about this one in particular is the combination of Goblins vs. Gnomes and the Boomsday Project.
Mechs.
Both are very mech-centric. Both approach mechs in a bit of a different way. And I've played around a little bit when Boomstick came out with a wild mech hunter, and there's definitely some ideas there. So I really like that you can draft those together.
I really like the exploration of combinations that we've never seen before. This is very, very cool.
The one card that I'm kind of missing in there is Nightmare Amalgam, because with Karazhan you also get
want the Witchwood in there.
Not necessarily, literally just that one card.
But Witchwood you also get Glinda Krowskin to give you a Mech Warper's Echo. Very strong.
No, but I was thinking because Karazhan has the Curator and the Zubos, which are mechs that synergize with dragons, murlocs, and beasts.
Which
and
Amalgam is.
Yeah. And so with the Amalgams, and of course there is Henge Clan Hag in there, so kind of building the decks that have all kinds of tribes is pretty hard. And
it's tough because of drafting, but I really like the idea of exploration and combination in Arena.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of interaction in between those sets that make a lot of sense.
So let us know what you're looking for with that one, because this seems like a very interesting thing. Also, of course, the big one, snip-snap. What's your opinion? How do you think it's going to work out? Is the whole priest combo thing overhyped, or do you think it's actually going to do pretty well, and are you going to try it out? My recommendation still, if it goes nuts, find a counter to it, and easy top legend, I want to say, in June, for sure. Because it comes out on June 3rd, I believe that's correct.
Yes.
And upon that day and that week, mayhem will ensue as everyone is going to try it out. And they all want the broken combo. So
yeah, just go with a very aggressive aggro deck, I think.
Find something that destroys it and
because
win
if
games.
you kill them before they pull off the combo,
that's my advice.
Yeah.
Don't be a sucker and try to go with what everyone else does. I probably will. I'll probably play the Reckless Experimenter thing, but you shouldn't if you want to climb during that time.
I'm probably gonna play. Maybe I'm gonna try Moloch Shaman around that time.
Yeah,
because it's probably gonna tear that apart.
You definitely should give that a try. So let us know your opinions on all the stuff, the new arena, all the card buffs. I believe this is overall a very positive article. Very positive changes that they're making. Looking really, really good. As well as the nerfs they introduced a couple days ago. Also very good. I like them.
Yeah.
So far, I haven't run into that much oppressive rogueness. So it's looking cool. The meta's shaping up to be interesting, and Control Warrior is still playable, which I also appreciate. But that's enough for us for today. Go Warriors in both the NBA sense and the Hearthstone sense. And I'm going to see you along with JJ in the next one. JJ!
That's it?
That's it.